Hi everyone, this is Miss Elkins. This is your first math lesson, week 2 of 6th grade. We're going to start with classifying rational numbers. So that's our first thing that we're going to learn in math. This slide that I'm showing you here is a Venn diagram. You can see there's a big white space outside of this, as well as, there's a big white space outside of this rectangle. And inside the blue rectangle, you can see the words China Spring Intermediate School. You and I are both members of China Spring Intermediate School, so we could fit right there in that box. However, you are in 6th grade, so you could fit inside the purple box that's labeled 6th grade. Even more so, you're in my class, so you could fit all the way down into the green rectangle as a member of my class. Even though you're not here with me, I still think of you as in my class. So what I'd like to think about now is, what's the most specific place you would fit here? Is it here in the blue, here in the purple, or are you most specifically among all those things in Miss Elkins' class? And the answer to that question is, you are most specifically in Mrs. Elkins' class. So that's where you would fit in this Venn diagram. You're in the middle because you're part of my class. All right? So let's take that a little further. This one's not going to apply so much to you because you're not actually in my classroom right now. But if we were to say all the people that are in Miss Elkins' class, you would be one of them. Okay? If you are a girl, you would fit inside in the girls category. And even more specific, if you're a girl with brown hair, you would fit in the very center of girls with brown hair. I myself am a girl with brown hair, so I would fit here. Maybe you're a girl with brown hair and you would fit there as well. But if you're a boy, you would go here. If you're a girl, you would go here. And most specifically, if you're a girl with brown hair, you'd go in the very center green section of this Venn diagram. So we're classifying people, and we're also going to classify numbers the same way we classify people. We're going to start with the smallest category is whole numbers. Whole numbers are all the numbers, including 0, that we use to count with. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Whenever you're bored, look up the definition of whole numbers so that you'll know that that is the category that we use to count with. Or not that we use to count with, because we don't count to 0, do we? We don't say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We say 1, 2, 3, 4. But whole numbers include 0. Moving on, a bigger category, because it includes whole numbers, is the category of integers. So we know that whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Integers are the opposites of the whole numbers, which we're going to learn a lot more about them. So numbers like -1, -2, -3, and so on would fit into the integers category. Whole numbers are integers, but they're not specifically integers. Whole numbers are most specifically whole numbers. Whole numbers and integers are within the same category. Now I have a bigger Venn diagram. This is all the types of numbers that we're going to study. And you can see the biggest category of all the numbers that we'll use this year are rational numbers. And rational numbers are numbers that you can use and write into a fraction form. One example of a rational number would be 1/2, because it can be written as a fraction. Another example of a rational number would be the decimal 32 hundredths. 32 hundredths could be written as the fraction 32 over 100. Now is a great time for me to tell you that I don't allow people to use the P word in my classroom. And this is really just kind of funny joke, but I would prefer that you read all decimals as they should be read, is with the tenths, the hundredths, the thousandths, or whatever place they're in. For instance, this is 32 hundredths. The reason I need you to say it correctly is because when you say it correctly, then you know what fraction it is. Okay, so rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction. Guess what? All natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers can be written as a fraction, but they're just more specific categories. So I'm going to go from rational all the way into the middle to the smallest category. Even though it's infinite, it's smaller than the other categories. Natural numbers are the numbers you use to count with. And you count 1, 2, 3, and so on to infinity. So all the whole numbers that are counting numbers are 1, 2, 3. You want to know the difference between a natural number and a whole number in this Venn diagram? The only addition to whole numbers is 0. So if you're looking at this Venn diagram, you would put all counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 7, 29, 1,472,000. All of those numbers are natural numbers because you can count to them. The difference between natural numbers and whole numbers? 0. That's the only thing that can go in the whole number category if you're counting natural numbers. Okay? Integers are the opposites of the whole numbers or the natural numbers. So integers have to be whole. They can't have a decimal with them. So -1, -7, -12, -372 are all classified as integers. If this isn't making sense to you just yet, hang on, because we're going to talk about this for a couple of more days. So by the time we get done, it'll make sense to you. I can remember the first time I was addressed with this. It was really confusing for me. So if you're confused right now, you're in good company. But just know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 categories of numbers. Natural numbers is the smallest. The only difference between natural numbers and whole numbers is 0. Integers are all the opposites of the whole numbers, -1, and they don't have decimals. And anything that's a decimal or has a decimal with it, for instance, the number 4 and 3/10, that's a rational number because it has that decimal with it. The number 6 and 1/3 is a rational number because it has a fraction with it. So that's the kind of the intro to these numbers. So if I were going to label this Venn diagram with integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers, the biggest category would be integers. The middle category would be whole numbers. Oops, can't spell. Whole numbers. And the smallest category would be natural numbers. Remember, natural numbers are the ones you count with. You've been learning those, or you've been knowing those since you were a little tiny child, probably. Okay? That outer category here, that would have to be rational numbers, because rational numbers are the biggest category. There is your lesson for today, starting with classifying numbers. Again, if you don't get it all just yet, be patient with yourself. We're going to have more lessons on this. Hope you have a great day.